Howdy and welcome to Life Lesson Friday for June 30th, 2023. We're halfway through the year, basically halfway through the year of 2023, and you should be moving towards goals, not necessarily just because it's 2023, but because today is another day. And with every day, we need to move towards our goals. And as we get that movement heading in the direction of our goals, sometimes we get nervous about things. We get nervous about, are we on the right path? Are we going for the right goals? But also there's things that come along that are big steps in that path that we know we have to take sometimes, the big steps. And we get nervous about it. And, I relate this to my athletes when I tell them, when you go to the starting line or the game's about to start or you're at the free throw line, and a lot of people are watching, or you just have pressure on yourself because you put the pressure on yourself to do well, change that nervousness to excitement. Because if you're nervous, you're more concerned about not being successful. You're nervous that you're going to fail. You're nervous that there's an opportunity to fail, because there's always an opportunity to fail. But you're nervous, and that drives a negative connotation and heads you down that way. And when you do fail, those times that you do fail, because we all do have those moments where we fail at something, it makes the nerves that much more, it compounds the nerves the next time we're in that same situation. The easy one to think about is, of course, a basketball player in a game on the free throw line towards the end of the game, and it's a close game, and they've got to make it. They miss the first one, and everybody, especially if they're in an away game, the crowd goes crazy and they start getting on them, and it becomes more of a nervous reaction if they miss the second one. Oftentimes, that's more because they let the nerves get to them. So instead, get excited about the opportunity that you have to get closer to your goal. You have an opportunity to, the kid has an opportunity to hit the free throw and get the team closer to the goal. You have an opportunity to compete in a 5K or a marathon or your local sports event with an opportunity to get closer to your goal. Change it to excitement, that you're excited you have the opportunity. You're excited that you have today to be able to do the next thing. If you're getting up in front of people to speak, and you get really nervous, and that you get nervous, and a lot of people do. It's a very common fear of getting up in front of people and speaking. But when you flip it, and I used to have this fear, and then I flipped it from being nervous and, oh my gosh, I'm going to say something wrong, or oh my gosh, they're going to laugh at me because I'm going to say the wrong thing, or the sentences aren't going to work out together, or I'm going to forget something that's super important, and then afterwards I'm going to just be negative about myself because, oh, how could you forget that? All those things that you can be nervous about happening lead you towards a negative space. Whereas if you can just say, I'm excited to be able to share with these people my story or my presentation or the knowledge that I've gained, whatever the situation is where you're speaking in front of people, for whatever the reason is. If you just get to go and say, I'm excited for the opportunity to be able to share. If you change it, then it changes your ability to communicate. It changes your ability to step towards that goal. And when you finish, even though you're going to forget something to say, you're going to say something wrong, you're going to mix your words up. Like, unless it's just like a 2 or 3 minute speech, right? Like, and you've got it memorized. Like, if you're speaking for 20 minutes to 30 minutes, you're going to mess up. It's going to happen. And if you focus on that from a nervous standpoint, it's going to make everything, it's going to compound it in a negative direction. And as soon as you mess up, you're going to realize it, and it's going to make it worse for the rest of that. You're going to start sweating. It's going to be bad. If you go with an excitement, then you're just excited to be there. You're excited to share. You're excited to talk. You're excited to see all these people. And it changes. And then when you mess up, it's okay. Because you're just excited to be there. You're not focused on the nerves that are messing everything up. You're excited to be there. Because in reality, the nerves that you feel are not really your nerves. It's just your body's chemical reaction to you doing something outside of your comfort zone. And it's the same chemical reaction if you're nervous or you're excited. It's the same, at the root, it's the same chemical reaction your body's going through. And so mentally, it's a matter of how are you approaching it? When you have that chemical reaction, are you approaching it because you're nervous, or are you approaching it because you're excited? Because for those of us that have gotten married or dated someone, whatever, the first time that you went to kiss, you were nervous, but you were excited. Same feelings, right? And so, like, when you're at the altar, you're nervous, but you're excited because it's all the same chemical reaction. It's not like there's two different chemical reactions and you have to determine which one is which. It's the same chemical reaction going on in your body. How you interpret it in your brain can then help you manage the outcome that happens from it. And if you go in to a situation that normally would make you nervous and change that to say, I'm excited about it, more than likely you're going to come out with a more positive outcome. Not necessarily hitting your goal, not necessarily like, if you're excited to run a race, that doesn't mean you're actually going to hit the time goal that you want to hit or the place goal that you want to hit. But the outcome, when you look at it from the other side of it, you're going to see more positives out of that than negatives. If you go into a speech, you're still going to mess up. You're still going to have mistakes. You're still going to have somebody that's going to come up to you and say, that didn't make any sense, or that didn't. But you're also going to have people that come up to you and say, oh my gosh, that resonated with me. Thank you so much. I loved this point that you made. I've never heard anybody say this thing before, and those types of things. And so you're going to have more positives in your, when you decompress, when you look back and dissect what's going on, how you did, how can you improve for the next time you have that situation come up. You're going to see a lot more positives than you will negatives if you go into it with an excitement versus nervous, and it's all the same chemical reaction. So it's simply just changing the way you talk to yourself, which is oftentimes how we can have a better life all the way around if we just change the way we talk to ourselves and be more positive about who we are. And so this is just one little way to do that. When you go into something, be more excited about it than you are nervous.